Hello! Today's video is going to be a review of the Sonlight History Bible Literature Level C. So this year for history, we use Sonlight again. This will be our third year using Sonlight, and we loved it. I did not get the instructor guide bound, so I put it in a folder myself. But I'm going to show you guys the instructor guide, the literature books that came with it, and the history books that came with it, and just tell you how we liked it. Here's the instructor guide. This is what you'll get if you choose not to have it bound by them. You can put it in a 3-ring binder, or you can go to like an Office Max and have it spiral bound. But this is the cover. It's Intro to World History, Year 2 of 2. So Level B is Year 1 of World History, and Level C is Year 2 of World History. After that, you'll get your weekly plan. So I got the 4-day plan. With Sonlight, you can choose between a 4-day and a 5-day plan. For history, we were only going to be doing that 4 days a week, so I got the 4-day plan. So if you'll see across the top, it'll say day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. So it breaks it up by Bible, and then you get your history and geography, and then your read aloud, which is your literature. So with Sonlight, you'll get something called HBL, which is History, Bible, Literature. All of this comes together in a package. For Bible, it has you do a reading from the Bible each day, and then it has a memorization line for you to memorize. You'll do that for 1 week, and then it has a CD called Seeing the Word, God Our Provider, and it'll tell you which track to listen to. So that's what you do for Bible. Then for history, it will list which book you're supposed to read out of and what you're supposed to read that day. So let me go through and show you what comes with the history portion. First, you get a couple of, I guess they're called like the spines, what the main part of your history is. And one is a child's history of the world. If you get B, you'll start this book in B, and then you'll use it again in C and finish it. So usually you'll read 2 or 3 chapters from this book each week, and this kind of just goes in order. And I like this book because it makes a lot of sense. My kids enjoy it, and it's easy to read, it's easy to understand, and it's just a great way to kind of introduce world history. Then the next book that comes with the history package is the Time Traveler's Guide. This is just a really fun book, and it kind of reinforces stuff that's learned in the other book. Like you'll do a journey to a castle, inside the castle walls, and it goes through different time periods and just shows you some nice like pictures of what it was like. The kids have enjoyed this book this year. The next book you get with the history is the Usborne Book of World History. This one, again, you'll be assigned certain pages on each day, and you'll just read whatever page. This is a very informative book, but it also has some really neat pictures. It shows artifacts. It shows the people and how they lived and different. See, this one's showing here the invention of writing. So this is just a really informative book, but also interesting to look at. So those are basically your 3 spines. You'll use those in Core B and Core C. I'm sorry, they don't call them cores anymore. They call them HBLs, History, Bible, Literature. The other thing that you'll get with your history is a timeline book. You'll get this package, which has timeline figures, and they're little stickers that your child will color, and then you cut it out, and then you stick it on the timeline on the date. You'll actually use this timeline if you use Sonlight for history through all the levels. And then at the end, they'll have a really great complete timeline book of just all sorts of events in history. This is kind of what it looks like once your child is working on it. They color it, they stick it on in the appropriate times, and it helps them remember stuff. And you can look back on this each week or each month, however often you want to, and just kind of go through the stuff you've learned. And it kind of puts everything in order in a visual for them. So that's the timeline book. Then the last thing you'll get with your history package is the markable map. So this is a foldable map, and you can use those vis-a-vis dry erase markers on this. And it has a world map on one side, and it has this United States on the other side. So that's your history package. You'll do that 4 days a week, and you'll just read whatever it says on that date. For history, there's really not a lot of Well, there's really not any. There's no worksheets with Sonlight. Sonlight's very literature intensive, so you're doing a lot of reading and not a lot of busy work, and I love that approach. The only thing I do to make sure they're listening and learning everything, I don't do any like tests or anything like that, but in the instructor's guide, after your daily schedule, it will give you day by day, and it'll give you some questions to ask if you want to, or some notes or things to mention to your child, what to discuss after you read. And then usually the next day, I'll just kind of give them a quick little trivia session on what we learned the day before or what we learned the week before. So that's it for history. There's no worksheets, there's no writing assignments, it's just learning about history. The next portion of Sonlight Level C would be your literature portion. And for that, you will have one like chapter book to read. And then in C, they also have this book, the Aesop's for Children. And they also have the poetry book, which is Cornstalks. So each day you will have a chapter or pages to read in your chapter book, and then you'll usually have a page or a story in your poetry book and your Aesop's for Children. So that would be your literature for the year. So let me show you some of the books that come with the literature for Sonlight C. So like I showed you, this Cornstalks book, it's a culmination of four books. Corn chowder, cornflakes, sweet corn poems, and corn fed. And these are just like really silly, short little poems, and the kids think these are hilarious. The kids really like these, and I like the illustrations in them. I think are really pretty. So this is the Cornstalks book. That's your poetry. And then you get this gorgeous book, Aesop's for Children. And this has all the fables, and it does have some pictures in it. And they're really beautiful as well. Okay, and then some of the read alouds that you get. We have With Two Hands. This one's Andrew Clements. The Penderwicks. Captain Nobody. The Little Riders. 21 Balloons. White Stallion of Lapisa. A Cricket in Times Square, Sticks Across the Chimney, Red Cell to Capri, Tales of Robin Hood, Sir Lancelot the Great, and there is a few more that I don't think I have down here, but that is most of them. And you may get one or two more. Now, again, this was the 4-day option. So if you get the 5-day option, you will get more books because you have more time to read the books. Keep that in mind. It depends on which option you get, how many books you're going to get with that. Now, the one thing about Sonlight that everybody loves is their literature selections. Every single book that we've read this year, we have absolutely loved. The kids have loved. Some of them are more funny and light, like that Sir Lancelot the Great, and some of them are more, serious and in-depth and kind of sad and kind of emotional. But I love that. This was the first book this year, and I think it's still one of my favorite. Red Cells to Capri. This was one of the books that, for me, I was so excited to read every day because I wanted to find out what would happen. And the kids really loved it, too. So when you're reading these books to your children, you're probably going to enjoy them yourself as well. They're awesome books. Sonlight is really, really great at picking wonderful, interesting, engaging literature. And in C, they do have a few of the books that relate to the history that you're learning. Now, when you go on to D, I believe all of the literature relates back to the history. So that's really neat as well. I love that. I want to show you, since I got the 4-day option, there were a few books that I wanted to have. So I just bought them. Sorry about the camera shaking. So I just bought them separately. So I wanted to show you that. Now these books would come with your curriculum if you bought the 5-day option. So, not that one. So we got Michelangelo, Peter the Great, and Eric the Reed and Leif the Lucky. And there were a few more that had to do with the history, but I just wanted these 3, so I got them as well. The way that Sonlight has the instructor guide laid out is very straightforward. It makes it very easy on you. You just look at the day, you know exactly what you're doing each day. What I do, I don't like to mark on my instructor guide because I'm hoping that at some point I might be able to sell it, or even, you know, I use it for another child. So I just make a copy of this and I put it in my weekly notebook, which is right here. And so each week I put like 3 or 4 weeks of this in here, and I highlight it as I use it. So I keep my original copy unmarked. So that's how I use that. That is Sonlight C. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. It's an awesome program. I love Sonlight for the history, Bible, and literature. That is definitely my favorite to order from Sonlight. Thank you for watching the video, and that's it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.